Yankees gonna talk some rocket sports down the I-4 corridor. So get your motor running. Time to put the pedal to the floor. It's loud and live and local. Oh, time for open mic.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. We are loud. We are live. We are local every morning, 6 to 9:30 a.m. right here on FM 96.9 The Game, AM 740, or maybe you have that hoity-toity HD high-def radio 101.1-2, or maybe you want to watch us on social media. Just go to YouTube, search for the Open Mic live stream, and there we are, live and in color. Mike, that's me, Mike Bianchi, the Bulldog sports columnist of the Orlando Sentinel. Adam Reardon, the Deceptive Intellect, he's right over there. And then, of course, executive producer Kelly Velez, the man you, our Open Mic listeners, have nicknamed the Smooth Operator, also in the house.
Ooh, we in the building today. How you feeling, Mike? How you feeling?
Feeling good today. Got Adam Reardon back from top secret assignment. Got a lot to talk about. Got NBA to talk about. College football to talk about. Maybe a little football as well. The European version of football. We'll talk about that. We got NFL, as always, to talk about. And we want to hear from you. Why is that? Because we are the people's show. We actually take calls, unlike other shows in this market. 407-916-8255. You can tweet us as well at 96.9 The Game on Twitter. We have a bunch of polls up right now. You can go vote on Twitter on all of those polls. We would appreciate it because we like to get your opinion on the topics we talk about. You can also text us on our Academy Sports and Outdoors text line. That's 50857. We like to begin every show with an open mic early morning inspirational quote of the day to motivate you.
Be cool if this didn't freeze.
No. Okay. All right. We don't have our little sound effect. What's the sound? Bring. All right, there we go. All right, this comes from our favorite philosopher, the greatest philosopher of all time, in fact, the one and only Anonymous, who once said, and I quote, "A truly rich man is one whose children run into his arms when his hands are empty," end quote. Adam Reardon?
That's pretty, I would say that's sort of self-explanatory. The greatest gifts that you can have, the greatest riches you can have is the love of your children.
Don't have to bring them gifts, right? You just bring them love.
Yep.
Just bring them love.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Right there. All right, where do we want to start today? All right, so Adam wasn't here for our Magic burial yesterday, the burial of the Magic season. All right, so I wrote a column in the Orlando Sentinel. You can read it at orlandosentinel.com right now if you want to. And I had a hard time writing this Magic wrap-up column. The Magic, obviously, as I wrote in the column, the only thing good, really, you can say about this Magic season is that it's over, all right? Because let's face it, we can try to sugarcoat it and look for the bright spots and all of that, but come on, the Magic finished 21-51. They had more player injuries than any other team in the NBA, and it wasn't even close. They parted ways with their only all-star, Nick Vucevic. Not only was he their only all-star, he's one of the most beloved players in franchise history, and The only thing good you can say about this season is that the Magic pulled off a masterful tank job down the stretch, which allowed them to finish in the bottom three and assure themselves of the best chance possible of getting a top 4 pick. I believe that's a 52% chance of getting a top 4 pick, and the best chance possible of getting the number 1 overall pick, which is a 14% chance at that. Here's my question for you guys. Is next season going to be more of the same? And what about the season after that? It was last year and I think we asked this question yesterday, was last year a short or this past season, was it a short-term sort of setback, or are the Magic in for a long-term rebuild? All right, I'm going to give you guys two scenarios, all right? Two scenarios, Adam Reardon. You ready for this?
Yep.
I'm going to give you the positive, the Pollyannish princess of positivity scenario, which is this, all right? This is the positive scenario. Jonathan Isaac and Markelle Fultz fully recover from their torn ACL injuries. They come back next year. Don't skip a beat, all right? The Magic hit on both of their first-round draft picks, their own and the one they get from Chicago. The young pieces that we saw this year, Cole Anthony, Chuma Okeke, Wendell Carter Jr., R.J. Hampton, and yes, even Mo Bamba, they take giant leaps next year in their developmental process. Terrence Ross returns to his old explosive self as the Human Torch. Steve Clifford, of course, returns as coach and does what he does best, which is making chicken salad out of chicken manure. All right? So all of those things happen next year. All right? So that's your positive scenario. All right? You ready for the nattering nabob of negativity scenario?
Yes.
That is this. Isaac and Fultz, okay, they return next year at some point. We don't know if it's going to be at the end of the season, but they return at some point next season. But they continue to be sort of the injury-prone players they've been throughout their young careers. The draft picks and the young talent turn out to be okay, serviceable, but not stars in the league. And Terrence Ross, he gets traded for even more draft picks. And if this happens, it would seem that the Magic are looking at a rebuild that takes 3, 4, 5 seasons. Which scenario is more likely?
I think the scenario that's more likely, this is probably the worst radio of all time, but somewhere in the middle that these guys come back and they don't take huge steps forward. But I think guys like Mo Bamba do continue to grow with the added playing time. I think obviously getting Jonathan Isaac back healthy or somewhat close to 100%. Is he going to be as good as he was before he got hurt? I don't know. Having Fultz back and then hitting on, let's say you hit on one of those draft lotteries. All right, let's go somewhere in the middle. I look at the East and I go, let me use the Knicks as an example, okay? Because Kelly likes the Knicks. It took Julius Randle a long time to develop and turn into a really good player. And so if one guy on the team takes that big giant leap, who else do they have on that team? Is like Derrick Rose is on that team. You know what I mean?
Derrick Rose is, yeah. He's found the fountain
Mitchell
of youth.
Robinson was there. He got injured. R.J. Barrett has been big as well.
My point is this: is that I don't think anybody in the East is that far off from a 4 or 5 seed, including the Magic. Including the Magic. The Magic just need a little positive luck. They had so much bad luck that you think, oh, this team's terrible. This team's terrible. This team's terrible. But the truth is, they're just very unlucky with all the injuries that they had, and they finally made a decision and say, listen, with all these injuries, let's load up for the future. And with all due respect to Vooch, he is what he is. I mean, he is a guy that's going to fill the stat sheet, but I don't know that he makes a team great or has the potential to make a team great. And they're rolling the dice on that. So I don't think that the Magic are that far off from being back into the playoffs where they were the last 2 seasons. But with a little bit of fortune, and you figure they're due at some point to get the good news, the good luck, then they could take a big step forward and be in that 4 or 5 range within a year or two, in my opinion.
Here's the problem I have with all of this, rolling the dice and the tanking and the draft picks and the young players is, again, there's no assurances it's going to work. We all know that. I mean, a rebuild is essentially management saying, okay, let's roll the dice here and maybe, just maybe, we'll end up with something better that we already had. And I always use the Philadelphia 76ers as an example. All right. Do you know when their trust the process tanking strategy began? 9 years ago. 9 years ago. Almost a decade ago. Who was the old GM that started it? Sam. Is it Sam Hinkie?
Croce?
Anyway. No, I think no. It was the old.
Oh,
the
no,
old.
no,
G-
I'm thinking their old owner, right?
yeah, you're thinking of their old owner. That wasn't Jim Croce, but yeah. But I think it was Sam Hinkie was the old GM who essentially started this whole tanking thing in the NBA, or at least started the systematic tanking. And again, it was 9 years ago. And not that the Sixers haven't been a decent team over the last 4 or 5 years, but all of that tanking, and they still have never made the conference finals. Now, maybe this year they'll get there, 10 years after the actual tanking began. But is all of the losing, they they go 4 or 5 years with just abysmal losing in Philly. Is all of that losing worth it?
Mike, you have to trust the process, okay?
Oh, Mike, I'll
trust the
say this: that the
process.
Magic lost what 7? How long was it?
Six straight years.
Without a process, without a plan. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd rather be losing and then have like some sort of goal for the future as opposed to this is just the way we do it. And
Well, the Magic had a goal. They just didn't hit on any of their. They didn't get a Joel Embiid in their draft. They got Victor Oladipo.
because they didn't have a process. And listen, they had an Oladipo too, and now he's on the Magic roster. A guy that didn't turn into an NBA superstar. But they loaded it up and they got 3 or 4 number 1 picks. So, I just think that there is no guarantee that you're going to win an NBA title with any plan at all. I just think that for a team that, Mike, you were so excited about just making the playoffs over the last 2 years, 7 seed, basically one win and done.
I wish they were in the play-in this year.
Well,
I'd be much more excited.
You think this play-in sticks around? You think this is a thing that stays for the foreseeable future?
I hope so. I think it's good for the NBA.
So
yeah.
If you're in the play-in, does that count as making the playoffs or no?
No.
No. Okay. All right.
You've got to win the play-in and get to at least the 8 seed.
Okay.
Then you're in the playoffs.
Magic will make the playoffs
right.
next year.
All right, we do have a poll up about the Magic, a much too early prediction poll. We want to know how many wins do you think the Magic get next year? And your choices are 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, or 40 to 50. I'm going to go 20 to 30. Yeah, they play an 82-game schedule next year. What do you go, Adam?
I'm going to go 40 to 50.
40
Nice.
to 50?
Okay.
Yeah. I really the number they play 82 games. They're going to get close to 500. I'd say 40 wins. 40 wins.
Wow. What do you say, Kelly?
20-30.
Yeah, I'll go to
Start
I'll
the
go 20
process
to
off
30.
low, and then we can move up from there. How about that?
Yeah, I hope Adam's right. Wow. All right, straight ahead. What do we want to? Oh, I've got a pretty good. I think I've got a text question idea. Maybe you guys can help me with it. That's next on Open Mic.
After I got drafted. When I came down here, he kind of brought me into the room, asked me how I felt about it, and I feel great about it. I feel like it's going to help me maximize my opportunity, maximize my skill set. So I feel like Coach knows what he's doing. He's doing what's best for the team, and I feel like it's going to work out really well.
That's Jags rookie running back Travis Etienne talking about Urban Meyer working him out at wide receiver during the rookie minicamp over the weekend. Of course, everything with Urban Meyer creates a controversy. So Urban Meyer was a topic on all the debate shows. What's he doing drafting a running back and putting him at wide receiver? That was one of the big topics in the NFL yesterday. We talked about it yesterday as well. Again, it's one rookie mini camp. I wasn't in favor of them drafting Travis Etienne, but if Urban Meyer's plan works, and I don't know that it will, if it works and Travis Etienne becomes, Mr. Versatility, and he's playing some running back and he's playing some wide receiver, and he's an NFL version of Percy Harvin when he was in college at the University of Florida, running and receiving, then, if he becomes that, then maybe we all owe Urban Meyer an apology. Here's my theory on what's going on with the Jaguars. Now, Urban Meyer has made, obviously, one questionable decision thus far with the hiring of the Iowa strength and conditioning coach that was later revoked. But here's my theory on Urban Meyer. Whatever Urban Meyer does, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody because I don't like Urban Meyer personally, all right? He's one of my least favorite coaches I've ever covered. I think he's disingenuous. I think he's dishonest. I think he lies a lot, all of that, all right? But I do think he's a hell of a football coach. I think whatever Urban Meyer does, people are going to pick apart because they just don't like him. Like I don't like him. If this were, again, let me think of if this were another coach, who's the coach of the Carolina Panthers who came from Baylor? I can't remember. Yeah, if this were Matt Rule making this decision, it would be a blip on the radar. It would be a blip on the radar. But because it's Urban Meyer and we dislike Urban Meyer so much, we're going to pick it apart. Thoughts?
I disagree. Okay. Not about the part about us not liking Urban Meyer, because that's true.
Because we don't.
That part, your facts are correct, Mike. But if Matt Rule, and he was at Baylor for a short period of time, where was he at before that? Temple, right?
Yeah, Temple.
If for some reason Matt Rule brought in his quarterback from Temple, who hasn't played,
we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
No, but okay. But I'm not mentioning the name. I'm not mentioning the name.
Right.
A former quarterback from Temple who hasn't played in the NFL in 7 years, who's never played the tight end position, says, "Hey, I'm giving this guy a shot at tight end." I think people would rip him. I think people would say, "That's stupid. That makes no sense. Well, what are we doing here?" And then if
first of all, we wouldn't even know who the former quarterback from Temple is. We wouldn't.
Well, no,
so I'm going to disagree with those facts.
It would make it even. It would make it even like, wait a minute, this guy couldn't even make the NFL as a quarterback, and we're giving him a shot as a tight end 7 years later. It's stupid. And then if he drafted a running back in the first round, and this is a well-known running back, a successful running back, and then said, "Oh, and by the way, I'm also going to move this guy to wide receiver," I think people would look at him and go, this is not making any sense. These are decisions you're making.
Well, he didn't say he was going to move him to wide receiver. He said he was taking a look at him at a rookie mini camp at wide receiver. He didn't say that he's going to move him there.
So let me ask you this. Why would you want to look at a running back at wide receiver?
I just told you because he wants. No, because you want to make a Percy Harvin out of him. That's why. Again, I'm not saying it's going to work.
Great.
I'm just saying that's why.
Hand me a typewriter and then make a Mike Bianchi out of me, okay? It doesn't work this way. It doesn't work this way.
I mean, Travis Etienne is a hell of an athlete. I mean, he runs a 4.3 40. He's 5'11", 215 pounds. He could probably take a little bit of pounding. And he did come back to college last year so he could improve his pass catching skills. So it's not that far fetched to make a Percy Harvin out of this guy.
Urban Meyer's been trying to make the next Percy Harvin since
Exactly.
Percy Harvin left.
Again,
if it was that easy,
did I say it was going to work? Did I say it was going to work? I did not say it was going to work. I'm just saying that's the idea.
Yeah, no, I get the idea. I get the idea. You know, like I said, it's like putting a typewriter in front of me and thinking I can become the American Sports Writers Association's #1 sport. It doesn't happen like that. There's only one of those Mike Bianchis out there. Okay, can't make another Mike Bianchi.
I mean, Travis Etienne, again, he's much closer to being Percy Harvin
Than I am to be Mike
than
Bianchi.
you are to being me.
True story. True story.
Anyway.
Look at all this hair.
Right. All right, here's our spontaneous text question of the day.
Spontaneous text question of the day.
All right, so the Baltimore Ravens have a rookie offensive lineman from Georgia, Ben Cleveland. He's a country guy. He's a native of a small town in Georgia. In fact, they call him Big Country. Well, at the Ravens rookie minicamp, he talked about his penchant for eating a certain wild animal. Listen to this.
I don't know if it was a specific diet. It's more so one of those things where, you eat what you got in the freezer from the fall. So, had a few squirrels freeze dried in there. So, get a little hungry. Ain't got no deer meat left. Fry up a squirrel or two, and just go eat that.
Okay, so he likes to eat some fried squirrel. All right, and I've certainly eaten some fried squirrel in my day. We used to go squirrel hunting and interlocking, and we'd kill the squirrels and skin them, and Mom would fry them up for dinner. So,
how does a squirrel taste, Mike?
It's sort of like dark meat, bony chicken. It's not that great. I mean,
would you season it? Were you seasening it back then?
Oh yeah, you'd fry it up with just like you'd fry chicken.
Put some sazon on it. A little bit of
I mean it's okay. I mean we would shoot anything back when we were kids in interlocking. I mean we shoot squirrels. There used to be this field back behind our house, and every evening the ducks would fly over the field because we lived by a lake, and they'd fly over the field and then light in the lake. So we would be in that field. And when those ducks would fly over, boom, 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 we would shoot the ducks, and then we'd take them home and clean them. I hated duck, by the way. I don't like duck to this day because it just wasn't very good to me. But anyway, all right, here's the spontaneous text question. The weirdest wild animal meat you've ever eaten. Text that in the 50857. Again, I've eaten it all. Alligator. I think the weirdest I've eaten is rattlesnake. Anybody ever had rattlesnake?
Rattlesnake?
I haven't, but I watch shows with like Andrew Zimmern on that where he goes to like all these other countries, like he goes to Morocco and they've got like that, like a sheep's head there, and they hand him the eyeball and he eats it and stuff.
Oh my goodness.
I honestly, I would love to go around the world and try nothing but street food, And I mean,
experience the culture, man.
Yeah, no,
Things are different.
like when Trina and I travel, that's like kind of one difference between she and I. Like she likes to eat at the restaurants, and I would I see somebody with a cart, with some sort of meat that I don't recognize. I want to try that, and she's like, "No chance that you're trying that. We'll be stuck in a hotel room for the next 3 days."
All right, text that in 50857. Weirdest animal you've ever eaten. 50857. Straight ahead, what is our text or our poll question today? Oh, it's about the Gators and Orlando City. Both announced yesterday full capacity at their stadiums, or at least plans for full capacity at their stadiums. But what exactly does that mean? We're going
15-yard penalty. I mean, this is ridiculous. Every one of his team, they're all going to get kicked out of the game. I mean, this guy, believe me, I know we can't bite kneecaps. I swear to you. I understand that's not in the rule book.
If nothing else, new Detroit Lions coach Dan Campbell is entertaining. Of course, he's the coach who, when he took over at the introductory news conference, he said, we're going to kick you in the teeth, and if you hit us back, we're going to get up and bite some kneecaps on the way up. So, Dan Campbell.
You need that sort of energy when it comes to someone in that position, though, you know?
Yeah,
I like that.
Well, I don't know about that. I think he's a big meathead. But he is entertaining. He's an entertaining meathead. I'll give him that. All right. So yesterday it was announced by both Orlando City and the Florida Gators that they are opening up their stadiums to full capacity. UF said in a statement that, yes, the 90,000 seat Swamp will be open this season for full capacity after limited capacity, obviously, last year. I think 17,000 was the max they allowed in during the pandemic. In a statement, quote, "We will resume full in-person participation in athletic and other activities on our campuses, including fan participation in stadiums and arenas." Orlando City, meanwhile, announced yesterday that it will reopen Exploria Stadium to full capacity for Orlando City and the Pride starting in June. In fact, June 22nd against San Jose will be Orlando City's first game in which all seats in the stadium will be available for purchase. All right, here's the question, and we've talked about this a little bit over the last few weeks and months, but I want to really delve into it here. All right, so I think we all agree that everybody's not just going to rush back into the stadiums. Season ticket holders aren't just going to, plop down their thousands of dollars and get the season tickets just like they did before the pandemic. I think most people would probably agree with that. But here's the question. And we're not just talking about Orlando City and the Gators here. All right, we're going to do we're doing a nationwide study here, if you will. Nationwide percentage of previous season ticket holders in all sports who returned to the venue of their favorite team as season ticket holders. I'm talking about previous season ticket holders who return to their venue as season ticket holders. What is the percentage nationwide? And we've got some options on a poll. Kelly, do you have the poll up? Do you have that?
Absolutely.
What are the options on the poll?
So our options are 50 to 70%, 70 to 80%, 80 to 90%, or 90 to 100%. Once again, we're talking about the percentage of pre-pandemic season ticket holders who will return to the venue.
Okay, so pre-pandemic season ticket holders who return as season ticket holders.
Right.
I'm going to go, I hate to be a pessimist here, but I'm going to go low. I'm going to go I think it's about 70%, maybe 75. I'll go 50 to 70, and I don't think it's necessarily health reasons. I don't think it's safety reasons. I think it's financial reasons and economic reasons.
That's true.
And I mean, people, a lot of people lost their jobs during the pandemic. Maybe they're back on the job, but maybe they're still in debt a little bit. Maybe they're trying to catch up. You look at the prices of everything right now in the grocery store, cars, everything, gas. The price is skyrocketing out there. People are worried. These are uncertain times, and I don't know that people are just going to plop down a few $1,000s for season tickets. Now, will they go to games on a selective basis? Maybe they'll buy a ticket to a game they really want to go to. But season tickets, I think it's going to be down dramatically, Adam Reardon.
Yeah, no, I agree. Actually, I thought I was being sort of positive when I was thinking in my mind 65%.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That held season tickets before And now, hey, season tickets are back. Come get them back again. I thought 65 was kind of like a boom, like a hey, and then 10%, 15% would follow after that, But if that's being negative, then I guess I'm negative. But I think 65% for the reasons you mentioned. It isn't just, hey, I'm afraid and I don't know what kind of protocol they're going to have set up at the stadiums. I mean, are they doing masks there? Are they screening for vaccines? I don't think it's that. I think it's that, there are people that before the pandemic had good jobs.
Yep.
And now they don't. And so, or they've found other places to spend their money as families that they can go, well, we can watch the games at home, but we're doing this other thing with our money now, and we happen to enjoy that. We don't want to give that up now. So, yeah, I thought 65%. And what I found to be interesting and kind of a thought is this sort of like, hey, guess what? We're going to full capacity. How much of this decision to announce this do you think it has anything to do with these teams looking for capital? Like right away, like these okay. So it's like, hey, we're open for business because we're not sure that if in 3 months, there's a mutation, and once they've got your money, what we learned about the pandemic, and if you were a season ticket holder somewhere and a team was holding your money because you had tickets and those games didn't happen, or you couldn't get in, getting your money back is not an option.
Yep. It
is, hey, we're holding your money and we'll give you the option to keep your seats there for 2 years down the line or something ridiculous. So I was wondering this announcement, like, hey, we're opening back up for business in the future. Come get your season tickets now, is more about like, hey, we're running a little low in the old bank account. We need to refill it with some of this money.
There's no question. They're trying to get, they're trying to build interest and get people in, get that money as soon as possible. No question about that. All right, go vote on our poll at 96.9 The Game. Vote on all of our polls. In fact, we're also getting some good text answers in for weirdest animal you've ever eaten, animal meat. All right, text those into 50857. Right around the corner, isn't it time for a Power 5 league to welcome in UCF? I'll explain next on Open Mic.
96.
welcome back to Open Mic. Give us a call, 407-916-8255. You can tweet us at 969 The Game. You can text us on our Academy Sports and Outdoors text line, 50857. Speaking of text, our spontaneous text question today is in honor of Baltimore Ravens rookie offensive lineman Ben Cleveland from the University of Georgia. Grew up in a small town in Georgia, and he says he likes to pull him some squirrel out of the freezer and fry it up. That's one of his favorite meals, fried squirrel. We want to know the weirdest meat you've ever eaten. We're talking about, weird animal meat. I don't think squirrel is that weird, but some people do. Some people do. I grew up eating squirrel. I grew up eating all sorts of animals. All right. So text those into 50857. We've got some good ones. Rattlesnake. Somebody texted in. Yes, I've eaten that. Shark. When I was in Bulgaria. Used to be able to get. Can you still get shark steaks in like the grocery store? You used to be able to get shark steaks.
Shark steaks?
I think you can.
I've realized I've lived in a completely different United States than you guys have. Like, what? Shark steaks?
Yeah, you can go to Publix. Publix, I think you can go to the seafood.
You mean sushi?
Case there. No. No, like, swordfish steaks. They have shark steaks.
Interesting.
That look just like that. Yeah. So. Kangaroo, somebody texted in. Wow.
I think that's next level. That's the next level.
Eat that big leg, that big kangaroo leg. How about this one? The lizard shish kebab. When I lived in Africa, Mike in Claremont texted that in.
Let's go, Mike.
I don't know if I'd eat any lizards. I had ostrich at a restaurant in New Orleans.
Wow.
Isn't ostrich? Don't they make like steak out of that? Some sort of ostrich steak.
Listen, if they can make steak out of sharks, they can make steak out of ostrich. Okay?
All I could think of there was when you mentioned Mike eats lizard kebabs, is like the pressure on him to eat everything his wife makes. Like, oh, what, you don't like this? You used to eat lizards in Africa, but now all of a sudden.
This is where you draw the line?
Yeah. My casserole? My mom's casserole? You don't like that at Thanksgiving?
I've eaten black bear, somebody texted in. Not good. Hey, you can just go get some black bear in Adam's neighborhood.
I'm literally walking down the road the other day. I had to pull over and I FaceTime my girlfriend. I was like, this thing's like walking down the road right here. It's the one with 3 legs.
He's chilling.
One with 3 legs. So I know where the other leg went. This guy, whoever texted that in. A little bear
Is
leg.
it a 3-legged bear, really?
Yeah, they call him tripod.
Really?
Yeah.
No, you're kidding.
Swear to God. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Somebody texted in camel on pizza.
Camel on pizza.
That's the next level debate. Like, hey, do you put pineapple? Oh, hey, I got this. You put camel on your pizza?
Yeah. Sort of disguises the taste of the pizza. You could say it camouflages it. The best weird food I've had is the grilled octopus at Mykonos Greek restaurant in Longwood. Little cheap plug there for Mykonos Greek restaurant.
Cheap plug.
Is that Mykonos?
Yeah, it's probably Mykonos.
Yeah.
Tomato.
Mykonos.
Shout out to Mike.
M-Y. Mykonos. Grilled octopus is delicious, by the way. I had it like 3 times when I was down in Miami 2 weeks ago.
What's the difference between that and calamari?
Octopus is octopus,
fried.
and then calamari
Calamari's
squid.
Fried, right?
And calamari squid.
Okay.
It is?
Yeah, calamari squid and octopus is
Octopus.
Gotcha. Yes.
You know what I like? Grilled octopus. I like to put. That's when you put the lemon and stuff on it, right?
Well, the calamari, you can do that
Calamari,
too.
you can
Any
do that.
seafood, normally lemon's a pretty good.
Yeah, when I go to the Bahamas, they'll have like these guys on the beach who drive up in their rickety old boats, and they'll have like, I don't know what they call it. It's like a seafood
conch ceviche.
Ceviche.
Yeah,
That's what
conch.
it is.
Yeah, you're eating.
I love that.
Conch ceviche. It's huge down there.
Yeah, love that.
You should see me because I don't eat vegetables. I'm like picking through, just getting the conch and stuff.
Oh,
They
you're
get
one
like
of
all the
those?
onions and all that stuff. And I'm like, I'll just take that piece right there.
Bengal tiger, somebody about 50 years ago before they were protected. No, you don't ding that.
I mean,
They weren't protected at the time.
You knew that was coming.
Yeah, that's why. That's why they're protected now, because 50 years ago people were eating them. Goat burgers with mushroom tea chaser. Goat, and that was in Jamaica. Somebody.
Yeah, he said mushroom tea chaser.
Oh.
So what I'm saying,
Some of that is that mushroom, the electric mushroom tea.
I think so. I'd have had to probably had to have the mushroom tea first before I ate goat burger, but you know what I mean.
Hello.
To each his own.
Yeah, I did mushroom tea one time, and I'll never do that stuff again. Snake jerky with raw shrimp heads. Wow. Anyway, 50857. Keep those coming in. We have Ernesto, line 1. He wants to talk about full capacity stadiums. Ernesto, how are you?
I'm good. And you?
Doing good, Ernesto. Good to hear from you, our favorite Jacksonville caller.
Yeah, I'm still around. I had to go through the open mic 10-step program. The first thing was when my friends introduced me to streaming, so I could get out of my depression. And then, I was back on track. But
good for you.
No doubt, no doubt. Hey, and I did eat possum chili in Savannah probably 20 years ago. I wouldn't say ate it. I had a sample of it at a chili cook-off. Very greasy. And in hindsight, after I learned what really possums do, I don't know what I did. I've never been the same since. I started calling into your show. However, I had a run-in with the Jaguars. I'm a lifetime season ticket holder. They've always upgraded me for at least one or two seats in the club section, and they tried to box me out of it this year, saying, "Oh, we don't know how many we're going to have, all this urban excitement." And I said, "Okay, I'm canceling." So I wrote a letter. I'm known for my letters. I wrote a letter to the head guy, Bishko, and then I hit all the ticket guys that I've used over the years. Imagine how many. I got a lot of return mail from that, but all of a sudden I get a call. Your letter's running around the office. What do you want? They gave you whatever I want. And it just goes to show you that you can sit and be about it all day and nothing will get done. But if you put pen to paper, put it in an email or mail it to them, you got it. I need to email somebody and get this show back in Jacksonville so I can really get up to speed. I miss you guys. It's terrible without you here.
Miss you too, Ernesto. We appreciate your call. Thank you, my friend. Woo! That's Ernesto. Yeah, squeaky. What is the saying? Squeaky wheel or
the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Yeah.
Squeaky wheel gets the oil or the grease. Yeah, Ernesto was the squeaky wheel, so he got what he wanted.
Hey, I was going to say, remember, before the break, we were talking about, is this announcement for season tickets, or for season tickets to be available more, but like capital, kind of the bottom line, like, hey, we're running low on funds. We went an entire year without, people in our stadiums, and that hurt us financially. So I happened to get on Twitter, and Gator Football Twitter, the verified, we got a nice little check mark there. It's on there. It says, "Welcome back. Per UF, we will resume full in-person participation in our athletic and other activities on our campus, including fan participation in the swamp. Go Gators!" Hashtag. Get your tickets here. The link for the tickets, right? And so that's there.
Absolutely.
And then right underneath it, they replied to their own tweet with another picture of Dan Mullen. Season ticket sales on now. Here's another link. Go get your tickets now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Listen, we thought Florida State was the only broke university in this state.
Yeah.
Hey, even Florida probably looked at their bank and go, "Whoa, you ever do that?" Call up your bank account and go, "Wait a minute, that doesn't feel right."
This ain't right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do that with my TD Ameritrade stock account. Yeah. Wow, what happened to it? Yeah, what happened to my money in there? Yeah. So anyway, by the way, Marv Albert, you see, this is retiring after calling the NBA's Eastern Conference Finals. That ends a broadcasting career spanning nearly 60 years. Yes. Wow. Yes. Marv Albert, Kelly Velez, you're a New York Knicks fan. Do you worship Marv Albert?
Don't worship him, but I do appreciate what he's brought to the table. Not only to announce it for the Knicks, but also just on a national level, he's been doing his thing. It's an incredible time for Knicks announcers too, because Mike Breen was just inducted into the Hall of Fame with Mike Wilbon and everybody. So it's going down right now in the city.
Marv Albert doesn't still do Knicks games, right?
No.
Yes. No, or yes. Marv Albert is known for his signature call of yes. By the way, he turns 80 next month.
80? I didn't even realize he was up there. He's quite seasoned.
Oh yeah, he's been around forever and ever. In fact, I remember Marv Albert. Let's pause right now for station identification real quick.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach. Listen live on iHeartRadio. Now. No, seriously, do it now.
I remember when Marv Albert, he used to be way back when I used to stay up late at night when I was a youngster. He was on the David Letterman show regularly where he would do like, do you remember that, Adam? He would do like the Marv Albert, like bloopers. He would do blooper plays on.
I don't remember that, but it makes
you remember
sense.
the kinky sex,
the
kinky sex scandal?
Yes, I do remember that. It was like biting that woman.
I hate that adjective, kinky.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it just depends on where your line's drawn. That's all.
Yeah. In fact, wasn't he charged for that or something?
He pled guilty, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
He already knew. He was like, yeah, I did that. I'm sorry.
And then he was on the.
You plead guilty. Yes.
He was on the. Wasn't he on like the customer list of some dominatrix up in New York who was slain at some point? Yeah.
Yeah, probably like one of those black books, like some.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
If I recall right, that's what it was. He was in the black book of one of these dominatrixes, and it had like Marv Albert's name, and then the price that he would pay, I guess, for getting dominated. Plus, there was the women. He used to dress in women's clothes too during some of his kinky.
Did you see who else is in that book? The Orlando Magic. They've been dominated all season.
Oh yeah. There you have it. All right. Other news from yesterday. Is this a surprise to anybody? All right. So Zion Williamson. All right. His name has surfaced in court documents that are part of a lawsuit filed against Adidas by another player who was at the center of everybody remembers the federal investigation in the college basketball. All right, so this other player never really got the opportunity to play, and that player's name is Brian Bowen. Or I believe, did UCF recruit him at some point? Anyway, Brian Bowen, all right? He initially signed with Louisville, then later signed with South Carolina. He became entangled in the federal corruption investigation into college basketball when his father accepted payments for his son to play for Louisville. I believe he's the reason Rick Pitino got fired at Louisville, or at least one of the reasons Rick Pitino got fired at Louisville. All right, so he never played at Louisville. All right. He sued in November 2018 and listed Christopher Rivers. Remember that name, Christopher Rivers, among the defendants. Well, in a court filing last week, Bowen's attorney alleged that Christopher Rivers used In Your Eye Sports Incorporated. That's the name of his business. In Your Eye Sports Incorporated. That Rivers listed that, and he's the president of the corporation, as a way to launder bribe money to the parents of amateur basketball players. The documents cite Zion Williamson as an example of what this Christopher Rivers used to do. In the filing, the court filing, Bowen's attorney included records. All right, so they have records now. They included records showing $5,000 in transfers from In Your Eye Sports to a bank account held by whom? Zion Williamson's mom and stepfather.
Ooh, buddy.
Additionally, the filing cited another 2017 payment to a furniture store account that the Williamsons had a bank account tied to. All right. So I guess they were paying off the furniture. And they got $5,000. So this is just a couple of the so-called payments that this Christopher Rivers was making to Zion Williamson's family. Now, we all remember that Duke, there'd been rumors of this in the past, and Duke reportedly did an internal investigation about this in 2019, and they didn't find anything wrong. So here's my question, all right? Obviously, Mike Krzyzewski's not going to be tied to this, all right, because, plausible deniability and all that. He's much smarter than Rick Pitino. He's not going to, there's not going to be any record of him knowing about this. But do you think Mike Krzyzewski knew about any of this?
Yes. I think all these coaches know about it, but let everybody know that they don't want to know about it.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, listen, with all due respect to Mike Krzyzewski and the way that they've always done it at Duke. Remember, there was a time, do you remember the time that Mike Krzyzewski didn't want to get into the one and done business?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then Mike Krzyzewski got into the one and done business. You just don't get into the one and done business without doing business.
You can't just say, hey, I'll take you for 1 year. Come here and play at Duke. You can't just do that.
Yeah, no. You don't get into the one and done business without doing business with the one and dones, okay? All right?
Yeah, this is, and again, there are sacred cows in college sports. We know that, all right? Rick Pitino, not a sacred cow, all right? Rick Pitino, obviously has a bit of a sleazy, greasy image, if you will. No way, no how would the NCAA ever investigate Duke basketball while Mike Krzyzewski is the coach. It just wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen. Although they did investigate Kansas, but Bill Self is not Mike Krzyzewski. Mike Krzyzewski might be the only coach in college sports who the NCAA would shy away from investigating. I'm not even not like even Nick Saban. I think the NCAA would investigate Alabama football. Why? Because they have in the past. Not under Saban, but Alabama's been investigated in the past. I just don't think Duke basketball. I think that is so holier than thou, and Mike Krzyzewski, the Jay Billises of the world and the Dick Vitales of the world, they all worship this guy and idolize this guy so much. I don't think the NCAA would touch Mike Krzyzewski, not even close.
Mike, think about the perception of the two guys that we were just talking about there. Rick Pitino, slick looking, kind of like New York mob affiliated type. You know what I mean? So you almost feel like
Slick Rick.
This guy's doing something shady. We need the RICO. That's what's going on with. So that's his perception. Mike Krzyzewski is a guy. Didn't he play at West Point?
Yeah, he played under Bob Knight, I think. At least he was an assistant under Bob Knight. Yeah.
How much more American can you get than being affiliated with the U.S. Army? At West Point, a West Point Academy. And then you go to a place like Duke that is of the highest academic standard in this country. Yes, no, Mike Krzyzewski is Glenda the Good Witch, and Rick Pitino is whatever the bad witch's name was. I don't remember, but
the Wicked Witch of the West.
The Wicked Witch of the West. There's no question. Just the perception of those two guys, and then Rick Pitino gone. Now that puts John Calipari right there in that Rick Pitino mold. But,
no question.
Yeah,
no question.
Yeah. You got the Italian guy with the really nice suits, and it doesn't it just seems like trouble sort of follows them. And then there's Mike Krzyzewski who does everything right. No way.
You're right. He graduated from West Point, played basketball at West Point under Bob Knight, captain of the Army basketball team in his senior season.
Captain America. Dude, we got mob bosses versus Captain America.
They would never. The NCAA wouldn't dare. They would not dare launch an investigation into Duke basketball. Just would not do it. Here's the other thing about Duke basketball. And again, Mike Krzyzewski is probably the greatest college basketball coach of all time, including John Wooden. All right. So But here's the other thing about Duke basketball. Everybody thinks Duke is like this bastion of academic, integrity, which it is. But Duke players are just like every other college basketball program. Duke allows its basketball players, they give them special consideration when admitting them into Duke. It's not like they have to meet the Duke standard to get in, okay? They don't have to meet the Duke academic standard to get in. If you're a great basketball player and you don't have a really good GPA, you're still getting into Duke to play basketball. So don't ever think that Duke basketball's academic standards are higher than other schools, all right? They're recruiting the same one-and-doners that Kentucky is recruiting. All right, straight ahead, going to do a little sound off. We have some hot sound that we are going to react to. But first, we have $1,000 we want to try to give away right now.
Now, here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website,
that your Groat is doing so well.
No, the Groat is, again, he's going to become the greatest replacement of all time. We know that. I think it was Adam who coined Groat, but yeah, we know that Kyle Trask is going to end up being the best quarterback of this draft class, and you just heard Bruce Arians allude to, hey, he's got 3 guys coaching him on every play. Yeah, he's got Bruce Arians, he's got Byron Leftwich, and he's got Tom Brady. This guy's going to be a sponge. We know that. He's going to sit there. He's going to bide his time. He's going to learn. He's going to soak up all of that knowledge. He's not going to complain. But when his time comes, he will be ready, just like he was ready when Felipe Franks went down with the broken ankle against Kentucky, and Kyle Trask, who never started a game in college in his life, came in and led the Gators to an 11-point rally in the fourth quarter to beat the Kentucky Wildcats. Kyle Trask is going to be a star in this league.
Just look what he's done this year. I mean, everybody counting him out this year. Everybody saying that, well, now that, Clay is hurt, can Steph lead a team on his own? What is he going to be able to do? Can he carry a team on his own? Can he carry a team into the postseason? Can he keep a team afloat? He's done that and more. I don't know anything else. If you're looking for MVP, if Steph is not on Golden State's team, then, what are we looking at? And we get caught up in the record sometimes. We get caught up in, okay, who has the best record, and instead of just saying who had the best season that year. And Steph has had, in my opinion, the best season all year.
LeBron James giving Steph Curry his flowers the other day. Adam, what do you think? Is he the MVP of the league?
He's great. He's great. I just think that there's a lot of deserving guys out there this year whose team isn't in the play-in scenario. Guys that lifted their team into the playoffs themselves. Listen, and I'm a LeBron guy. When LeBron got hurt, what were the Lakers like second or third, right? Mm-hmm. And now they're in the play. I mean, LeBron's still the MVP to me. All right, he'll always be my MVP. But there's other guys out there that you can point to. In Denver, you've got guys in. I honestly like the way Russell Westbrook's playing.
Right.
I like him, but Steph and LeBron, I think it's a mutual admiration society amongst these two guys. Then they're playing.
LeBron's trying to butter up Steph before their play-in game tomorrow.
Get him fat and happy. Get him a little fat and happy.
That's exactly what he's doing. You know how smart LeBron is. That's what he's doing. Just trying to butter up Steph before the game, and then you know what's going to happen. The play-in game, LeBron's going to turn into the assassin. That's what's going to happen.
Man, I hope you're right.
Sound off.
Calhoun leads off second pitch. Struck him out swinging. So Cole was in trouble. He gave up a ground ball double, and he took care of it. He struck out the next 3 men. He is something, and the Yankees are really fortunate to have him.
Yankees pitcher Garrett Cole breaking a MLB record, man. 61 strikeouts before his next walk. Mike, what are you thinking about the red-hot Yankees and their loss yesterday and Garrett Cole?
Yeah, too bad he had to break the record during a loss. But, yeah, the guy is playing lights out. He's been unbelievable this year. I don't know what I don't know whose record he broke for that. It's a bit of an obscure record, but still, what the Yankees are doing, this is why you don't overreact to a snapshot of a season. I say that in the NBA, and I'll say it in Major League Baseball. Early in the season, when the Yankees, I believe they were in last place in the AL East and then the Yankees fans, you know how Yankees fans are. They're freaking out. What's going on? What's happening? And now look at the Yankees. They're right up near the top of the division. They'll be there at the end. In fact, they'll probably win the division. So relax, Yankee fans. You have a good team. You have a good manager. And you have a good front office. Yankees will always be relevant.
Sound off.
Two is obviously an important piece, and he's been working hard this offseason. He knows where he needs to improve, and we've talked to him about the year 1 and year 2 jump, and it's a real thing. I think he's more comfortable with just his surroundings, more comfortable being in a huddle, giving a cadence, going through his communication, things like that. Those little things that no one really talks about.
Head coach of the Finns, Brian Flores, commenting on Tua and his development since last year. Adam, what are you thinking this year for the Dolphins?
Well, it sounded like when he said, like, we talked to him about that year 1, year 2 jump, and that's a real thing, meaning like, no, we told him that if there's not a big jump between year 1 and year 2, we're going to go ahead and start, perusing the free agency world or maybe even the draft. They've sort of hitched their wagon this year to Tua. They decided that they're going to give this guy an entire season to prove that he can be the man in the NFL and with that franchise, and then they'll deal with it after the year. So they're going to give him every chance to prove that he is a worthy of that draft stock, worthy of tanking for him the previous season, and be the leader of this football team.
I have a prediction. Ooh. I have a prediction.
Mike Stradamus, let's go.
I'm not sold on Tua, all right? I'm not sold on him. I'm going to predict that Tua, at some point this season, will be benched for the great Jacoby Brissett. He will be benched for Jacoby Brissett. Now, maybe it won't be a permanent benching, but they will bench him just to try to create a spark with one Jacoby Brissett. Wasn't he in New England with Flores at one point, even though Flores is a defensive guy? I think he was.
So he's familiar.
Yeah.
He's familiar.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my prediction.
Coach informed me that the very next day after I got drafted, when I came down here, he kind of brought me into the room, asked me how I felt about it, and I feel great about it. I feel like it's going to help me maximize my opportunity, maximize my skill set. So I feel like Coach knows what he's doing. He's doing what's best for the team, and I feel like it's going to work out really well.
Jacksonville Jaguars running back Travis Etienne talking about switching positions, running routes, and minicamp. Mike, what you thinking?
You know what? I want to save that. Play me the Albert Pujols clip for the single from last night. Can you play that?
Ground ball up the middle into center field for a base hit. Betts scores. Pujols, how do you do? His first RBI as a Dodger. Welcome aboard.
He's back, but in L.A., Mike.
Yeah, he was with the Angels, and now he's with the
Isn't it
what
crazy?
About this guy? What about this guy? He essentially steals $240 million from the Angels, all right? And the Angels tell him, hey, you're not doing very well. We don't want you to play every day, all right? So can you just, sort of sit on the bench here? And he goes, nope, I want to play. I want to play. So they cut him, and he signs with the Dodgers, and the Angels are still paying his salary. Oh, my God. Oh, my, couldn't he just sit out this season? He stole $240 million from the Angels. Stole it.
Only in sports, Mike, because I'm pretty sure that in L.A., if you switch from red to blue like that, you wouldn't be able to show your face in public.
It's going to be difficult. Yes. Definitely going to be difficult.
Good God. He goes to the rival. He goes to the rival Dodgers.
Sound off.
That is grand larceny. Grand larceny right there. Albert Pujols.
The beauty of guaranteed contracts, Mike. The guaranteed contract of Major League Baseball.
Wow. All right, straight ahead. Okay, we're going to get into this UCF topic. It is time for the Power Five to invite UCF in. I will explain why next on Open Mic.
And also, Mike, we got some tickets to give away, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, if you want to go see the Monkeys farewell tour with Michael Neesmith and Mickey Dolenz going down Sunday, October 10th at Hard Rock Live, give us a call right now, 407-916-8255. Give us a call right now if you want to get these tickets, folks.
Hey, we're the Monkeys.
Talk to him. You know about the Monkeys?
Come on now.
Okay, come on now. We'll see you folks next round. You heard?
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
But anyway. All right, so I wrote a column over the weekend that has gotten quite a bit of buzz. You can actually still read that column at OrlandoSentinel.com if you like.
Cheap plug.
And it was essentially an open letter to Power 5 conference commissioners, and I made the case of why UCF belongs in a Power 5 league. And all the UCF fans, they love me now. They love me now. So anyway, I used the latest Nielsen TV market ratings as sort of the jumping off point for the column, and Orlando has moved past Miami as the 17th largest TV market in the country. Not only that, but projections for the TV market in Central Florida are mind-boggling. According to the last census figures, Orlando is growing faster than every other major metropolitan area in the country, except for Raleigh, North Carolina. More specifically, from 2018 to 2019, Orlando, the statistical metropolitan area, grew by 2.4% to reach a population of just above 2.5 million. All right? For comparison's sake, two of the other fastest growing cities in America, Atlanta and Denver, grew by about 1.5%. So Orlando grew 2.5%. These other fast-growing cities, 1.5%. What does that mean? It means we're going to be Atlanta in 10 years. That's what it means, all right? This market is, again, skyrocketing. It's blowing up. As you probably already know, Orlando is the biggest TV market in America without an NFL team. And as I've written before, and as I've said before, and I will reiterate here, is Adam Reardon back?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right, Adam. Even you being the avid Miami Hurricanes fan that you are, I think you will agree that most big cities that have a plethora of professional sports like Miami aren't very good college football towns. Miami, Tampa, Cincinnati, Philly. Big cities traditionally aren't very good college football towns because, let's face it, in Tampa, they're not paying attention to USF. They're paying attention to the Bucs and Tom Brady and the Rays going to the World Series last year. In Miami, and again, even when the Hurricanes were good and really good, they had some trouble selling tickets. Would you agree? Would you agree with my assessment?
Yeah,
yes.
The public supports them when they're very, very good. USC, UCLA has the same issue that if USC isn't competing for Pac-12 titles or national championship, we all remember Snoop Dogg and Will Ferrell on the sideline. Well, go back to when they were, 6-6 or 5-7, way back before Pete Carroll. Nobody was in the Coliseum, and they play in big old NFL stadiums that are tough to get to because of traffic. College towns, if you will, the Gainesvilles, the Tuscaloosa, Alabamas, the Athens, Georgia. It just has a different feel to it, no question about it.
If a Power 5 league were to bring big time college football to Central Florida, all right? And again, we're a big city now, bigger than Miami metropolitan area. If they were to bring big time, I'm talking about big time college football to Central Florida, that league would own it would be the biggest college football town in America. Again, we have the Magic, and the Magic right now aren't very good. Orlando City, yeah, there's some interest there. But if you were to bring big-time college football to Central Florida, it would be unbelievable. And you cannot tell me that some of these Power 5, these mid to low level Power 5 programs, you cannot tell me that Iowa State and Washington State and some of these Purdue and some of these other, Mississippi State, you can't tell me that these programs have more potential, more growth potential than UCF. As I wrote in my column, these Power 5 leagues, they're still holding on to JCPenney stock when UCF is turning into Amazon here, all right? Again, just look at the demographics of this city. Look at UCF, second largest college in the country, 72,000 students, bigger than the University of Florida, bigger than Florida State, obviously bigger than Miami, bigger than Alabama, bigger than Georgia. Just think of the thousands and thousands of alumni UCF is cranking out on an annual basis. You give these young alumni a big-time college football program to support, and you're going to see something. Let me read you a quote from Terry Mahajer, UCF's AD, all right? Not only is the not only is the Orlando market unique, but our university is unique. Unlike more traditional schools, 95% of our alumni are still living. We are the only school in America where our alumni is getting younger every year. I don't know if that's the case, but that's what he said. The average age of our alumni is 36, and we're graduating more than 17,000 students per year. As broadcasting companies and networks continue to evolve, they are going to have to deal with more and more cord cutters. Our young alumni know more about technology than most. Many of them don't have cable. They have iPhones and iPads and computers, and that's how they are consuming college football. We have become the future of what college football is going to be because broadcast companies need eyeballs, and we have the alumni and the market to provide those eyeballs, end quote. That's my case to the Power Five right there. Thoughts, Adam Reardon?
No, I mean, I don't disagree with anything they're saying. I mean, whether that's you or Terry Mahajer saying that stuff, you know, he's right on. And now the issue is, how long ago was it, Mike, when there was sort of not expansion, but I forget what the phrase was that they used for realignment in college football? That wasn't the Big 12 very interested in UCF? Wasn't that on the table at one point?
Yeah, 7 or 8 years ago. The Big 12 was thinking about expanding, and I actually went out to Dallas when they were having their meetings, and UCF was under consideration, but they ended up not expanding. Like
Texas was going to leave or something like that. I mean, there's a whole domino effect.
Well, the reason they didn't do it is they didn't know if it would help their TV contract, and they didn't want to split up the money they didn't want to add another piece of the pie that they would have to split up.
Think about that.
Yeah.
That 7 years ago, they go, well, I don't know if bringing in UCF, and having to reevaluate the TV contract would help or hurt us in the money. And then we're talking about what we're talking about now, the growth of the demographic in this area, getting more Eastern viewers to your conference, which has never been a negative thing to have in the Big 12. And listen, I know you have West Virginia, but that's a little bit different.
Just getting in the state of Florida, the Big 12 getting in the state of Florida with the recruiting base and all of that, just having a presence.
What makes the most sense for you? Like long term, like what could you envision? Because I agree wholeheartedly that
Big 12.
The Big 12. The Big 12. Because in your mind, Florida State and Miami in the ACC. The ACC already has that area covered. Florida inside the SEC, they're not allowing, or they're certainly not going to co-sign the idea of another, Florida school inside the SEC. So the Big 12 makes great sense. And the Big 12, if you look at it today,
the Big 10, they got Rutgers for crying out loud. Why wouldn't they want the Florida market?
It's a great question. And right now, I mean, having UCF probably more attractive today than they were 8 to 10 years ago, right?
No question.
I mean, they were good 8 to 10 years ago, but for the reasons that were laid out there, and if they're looking at it and going, man, they're right. Cable is going down, and this online viewership, this demographic knows about viewing on their iPhones and their iPads.
No question. Anyway, that's my case. You can go read the column at OrlandoSentinel.com. Straight ahead, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's go from college to the NFL and talk about stadium capacity. That's next on Open Mic.
96.
to put the pedal to the floor. It's loud and live and local. Oh, time for open mic.
Welcome back to Open Mic. I'm Mike Bianchi, the Bulldog. Hoo, hoo. Sports columnist of the Orlando Sentinel, joined as always by co-host Adam Reardon, the deceptive intellect, and of course, executive producer Kelly Velez, the man you, our Open Mic listeners, have nicknamed Smooth Operator.
Woo, yeah.
Together we are Open Mic, the troika of sports talk radio excellence in the megalopolis we know as Central Florida. Next chance at $1,000. That's coming up at 8:10 a.m. this morning. Fox 35 sports anchor Adam Shadoff. He's on deck. He will join us about 8 a.m. this morning. The final magic word with Orlando Magic broadcaster extraordinaire Dante Marchitelli. That will be at 8:15 a.m. this morning. We have a spontaneous text question as well.
Spontaneous text question of the day.
Okay, this is in honor of Baltimore Ravens rookie offensive lineman Ben Cleveland. He's an old country boy. In fact, they call him Big Country. He grew up in a small town in Georgia, went to the University of Georgia. He was at the rookie mini camp the other day, and they were asking him, the reporters were asking him what he liked to eat, and here's what he said.
I don't know if it was a specific diet. It's more so one of those things where, you eat what you got in the freezer from the fall. So, had a few squirrels freeze dried in there. So, get a little hungry. Ain't got no deer meat left. Fry up a squirrel or two, and just go eat that.
Fry up a squirrel or two, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, absolutely. There's not much meat on those little skinny squirrel legs, so you have to have more than one squirrel.
That's right.
I mean, they're a little bony. I've had squirrel before. We used to go hunting for squirrels when I was a kid. And man, first we would hunt them with our with our pellet. We had a BB gun and then a pellet gun. We graduated to a pellet gun. Then we graduated to a .22 rifle that we would hunt squirrels with, and then Adam Reardon, you grew up in Ocala. Then I got the double barrel 16 gauge for Christmas one year. And would slay the squirrels.
Obliterate the squirrels?
Well, yeah, you get the pellets.
Have to pick through them.
Yeah, you have to pick the pellets out of the squirrel meat. Yeah.
So, Mike,
but man,
how many squirrels would you guys eat? How many squirrels would you eat in one sitting?
We would clean them and my mom would cook them up. I mean, you could eat probably three squirrels, maybe.
So you would eat 3 squirrels.
When I was a kid, this is when I was a kid. Now I could probably eat, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 squirrels.
I was going to ask, how many squirrels do you think Ben Cleveland needs to eat before he's full?
No, he would need to eat that would be like an all-you-eat squirrel buffet for him. Yeah. So anyway, our spontaneous text question is weirdest animal meat you've ever eaten, whether it's, we've got a lot of rattlesnakes this morning. A lot of people have eaten rattlesnakes. Somebody had camel on their pizza, grilled octopus, snake jerky. What about this one? I'm not agreeing with this one, all right? Sandhill crane, all right?
Oh,
in
man.
Texas... In Texas, they call it ribeye of the sky. Wow.
I'm just gonna dig it just for the name.
What's is that the what bird do we have around here that walks around in the streets and stuff? It's got the little red.
I believe those may be sandhill cranes, if I'm not mistaken.
They are.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, in our neck of the woods, this guy'd have an all-you-can-eat buffet. Those things are all over the place.
Yeah.
But they're protected. Don't do that.
Yeah. Somebody texted an eagle. Who would eat an eagle? No, you can't ding that. That's a buzz.
I'm just very.
That's the national bird.
But it's impressive. Have you ever seen an eagle do its thing? You have to go through a lot of things to get an eagle down.
What if that's how American somebody wants to be like? Not only do I have this eagle tattoo, but I've actually eaten eagle. I've got eagle inside me. America.
Keep those coming in, 50857. Somebody texted in black bear earlier, and I said, hey, you could get that right there in Adam's neighborhood. And he was telling us about the This is a 3-legged black bear in your neighborhood they call tripod?
Tripod. It goes all over Longwood, and then down towards Markham and stuff. So in the Lake Mary Longwood area, it's pretty famous actually. People always taking pictures of it, going, "Oh, look, tripods in my backyard."
Better than tripod being, "Hey, look, tripod's on my plate." Bear steak. Oh, wow. All right. We don't have Adam Shadoff yet, right?
Not just yet.
Okay, we don't have Adam Shadoff. I wanted to get into this story. We talked a little bit about it earlier. All right, so the Gators announced yesterday they're going to allow fans to fill their 90,000-seat football stadium known as the Swamp this football season after limiting capacity during the 2020 season, obviously, because of the pandemic. I think the maximum they allowed last year was 17,000. So Florida announced yesterday, hey, full capacity, get your season tickets. Now, same thing with Orlando City. All right. They announced yesterday that they will reopen Exploria Stadium starting in June to full capacity. In fact, June 22nd against San Antonio, that will be the first game that Orlando City allows every available ticket to be for sale. All right, so that's the information. Let's pause right now for station identification.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach. We are football. We are FM 96.9, The Game.
Quiet on the set. Can we please have quiet on the set?
It's TV time on Open Mic.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Let's hear from Fox 35's own Adam Shadoff.
You can watch Adam Shadoff every weekday on the Fox 35 Sports Zone. He presents the sports news in an eloquent manner right there, 11:30 p.m. every weekday night, 10:30 on Sunday. Adam Shadoff, how are you?
What's up, Bianchi? How you doing?
Well, we were just talking about this rookie Georgia offensive lineman, Ben Cleveland, who has a penchant for eating fried squirrel, and we were talking about some of the weirdest animal meat we've ever eaten. What's the weirdest animal you've ever eaten?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe elk.
Really?
I guess elk is as weird as I've gotten.
What's elk? Is elk just tastes like steak? I would assume.
It's like venison, like gamey, kind of a little bit gamier steak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you like it?
I liked elk. I would eat elk again. I've eaten buffalo. Buffalo is good. Also similar.
Have you ever eaten rattlesnake?
No.
No.
Never have. Fried squirrel. That sounds like some very Georgia. That sounds like some stuff that you probably would have eaten growing up in.
Oh, I've definitely, I've eaten many a fried squirrel in my day. We used to go squirrel hunting back in the day. Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing: that cleaning those. I mean, squirrels are essentially they're just like little rodents in trees. They're a little hard to clean though, because there's they're so small.
There, huh?
No, and there's not much meat. So yeah. But it's tasty. It's tasty, especially if you fry it up, put the seasoning on it, it's sort of like dark meat chicken a little bit. So
right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a little shout out with Shadoff, shall we?
Shout it out from the rooftop.
Woo-hoo!
It's time for the Shadoff Shout Out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Shout Out with Shadow brought to you by Frank Gay Services. When you have a plumbing or electrical problem, you need help now. Go to frankgayservices.com. Starting it all off with the open mic thought-provoking daily poll with the Florida Gators and Orlando City both announcing plans on Monday for full capacity at their upcoming games. What will be the nationwide percentage of pre-pandemic season ticket holders who return to the venue for their favorite teams? Is it 50 to 70%, 70 to 80%, 80 to 90%, or 90 to 100%?
Again, I think there's this idea that everybody's just going to flock back into the stadiums because they missed it so much. And there will be some of that early, all right? But I do believe it's going to be, I'm going to go 50 to 70%, maybe 75%, but for the options, I'm going to go 50 to 70. And I don't think it's necessarily for safety or health reasons. I think it's going to be for economic reasons. Let's face it, a lot of people during the pandemic either lost their jobs, they were put on furlough, maybe they're still trying to recoup from the financial losses during the pandemic. They're not going to have as much disposable income. The economy right now is questionable. It's a time of uncertainty when gas prices are going up, other product prices are going up. Just go to the grocery store now. Car prices are going up. So I don't think people are going to have as much money. And if they do, I don't think they're going to just plop it down for season tickets. I'm going to go 50 to 70%.
I'm going to go 70 to 80%. I think there'll still be some economic anxiety like Bianchi is describing, but I know a couple of Orlando City season ticket holders, and one of them went he's been very cautious during COVID, and he went to one of the games since he was allowed back in, and he was not very happy with the way that people were not wearing their masks in their seats, and there's going to be a lot of that. When they get very full, you're going to see, I saw this at Daytona, no one ends up wearing their mask the whole time like they're supposed to, if they're supposed to, outside. And that's going to bother a lot of people, I think. So I think a good amount of people are going to come back. And then I think for money reasons, and I still think for COVID concern, there's going to be some issues there. So it'll be like 70, 80%.
This one's very close, ladies and gentlemen. With 35% of the vote, 80 to 90% is winning it. But 70 to 80% is at 34%. So by the end of this, it will probably be, a little switch, but that's what we have right now. And then we're going to switch over to the open mic supplemental poll number 1, ladies and gentlemen. In a much too early prediction poll, how many games will the Orlando Magic win next season? 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, or 40 to 50?
Okay. Who's starting here?
Adam, you go first.
He's ready.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to go 20 to 30, although this is a really tough call. I'd like to think that with a fully healthy Jonathan Isaac and Markelle Fultz and whoever they get drafted, I'm going to be real optimistic and say they draft Cade Cunningham because they get the number 1 overall pick. So hooray! But they don't have Vooch, they don't have Fournier, they don't have Gordon, they don't have those guys that were a mainstay and a reason that they were going to be good this past year. They're going to have a bunch of new guys, and R.J. Hampton and Wendell Carter are still, really young. It's going to take a while for all that to gel. So I still kind of feel like it's going to be a little while before they're good again.
Okay, if Jonathan Isaac and Markelle Fultz fully recover from torn ACLs, if they hit on both of their draft picks, if Cole Anthony and Chuma Okeke and Wendell Carter Jr. and R.J. Hampton and Mo Bamba take giant leaps in their developmental process, if Terrence Ross returns to his old explosive self next season, then they could be back in the playoffs. But I don't see all of those things happen. I'm with Adam. 20 to 30 games next year. Maybe the year after they can return to the playoffs, but not next season.
And with 49% of the vote, our audience agrees with y'all, 20 to 30. I love it. Very good. All right, open mic supplemental poll number 2. Who would last longer in the NFL?
Why do you love that, by the way? Why do you love 20 to 30?
Because I said the same thing earlier.
Okay. So you just want to be right.
We're all on the same boat.
We want to be wrong, though. We want to be wrong on this, Kelly Velez.
Listen, let's see about this one. Who will last longer in the NFL? Tom Brady, quarterbacking the Tampa Bay Bucs, or Bill Belichick coaching the New England Patriots?
I'm going to... Shockingly...
Uh-oh.
Bill Belichick is he 70 years old? If not, he's close to 70 years old. And I realize he's been maybe the greatest NFL coach of all time. But if Bill Belichick doesn't win this season, he's going to start getting some heat, all right? He's going to start getting some heat. And if he doesn't win the season after that, then I think he'll just step away. I think Tom Brady will last longer in the NFL than Bill Belichick.
Oh, Bianchi's a big believer in the avocado ice cream and not eating the tomato or the strawberry ever, and
absolutely
3 hours of stretching a day. As much as I believe all that, and I think Tom Brady wants to play for a while longer, I legitimately I cannot imagine him going more than 2 more years, and I just feel like Bob Kraft will give Belichick a little more leeway than that for all those NFL titles. I know it's what have you done for me lately, but all those NFL titles that Belichick won surely earned him a little grace period where he can last a little longer than 2 more years, even if they're bad another year or 2. I go with Belichick.
Bill Belichick is 69 years old right now, by the way. With 83% of the vote, Bill Belichick coaching wins. Open mic
How many
supplemental.
percent?
That is 83. I was
wow.
surprised about that, to say the truth.
Yeah.
Open mic supplemental poll number 3 with Marv Albert retiring after 60 years. What will he most be remembered for? Knicks broadcaster, national broadcaster, signature yes, Cole, or kinky sex scandal? My favorite one.
First of all, it's not yes. It's yes.
Yes.
Yes. Obviously, I think national broadcaster's gonna win this, but every time I think of Marv Albert, the first thing I think about is the kinky sex scandal several years ago with the dominatrix and all of that. So for me, that's it. But I think a national broadcaster will win this.
I think yes will win this, but for me, I'm with Bianchi. It's a terrible picture in my head. I'm picturing Marv Albert in women's undergarments involved in a fighting sex scandal, and it's a terrible picture to have in my head at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. So thank you very much for that.
Adam, can you give us your yes imitation?
Yes.
Yeah, that was beautiful. With 46% of the vote, yes, the signature yes call wins. And second, of course, the kinky sex scandal with 30% of the vote. Open mic supplemental poll number 4. With the Pentagon getting ready to release unclassified reports on UFOs to Congress, do you think the government has been hiding alien contact from us? Yes, absolutely, or no, not at all.
Listen, Bianchi, I'm going to start with this one because I talked to multiple people at the station last night about this. I saw the 60 Minutes story. I don't know how this isn't the biggest story in the world right now, the biggest story in the history of the world. The 60 Minutes story sure makes it seem like they're finding aliens off the coast, alien ships, like every day. U.S. fighter pilots, legit people, not crazy people, are actually encountering alien spacecraft every single day. They're not crazy people. Like this is the biggest story of all time. I don't know why this isn't dominating the headlines right now. This is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Reardon sounds like Orson Welles in War of the Worlds here, all right? Good Lord. Yeah, I agree with Adam. I think the government has been hiding some of this information from us. In fact, as the great drag racer Don Garlitz once told me when I interviewed him, he was a big believer in UFOs and aliens. He said there are aliens living among us. He even had pictures and figurines of the aliens that are living among us. So yes, I agree. The government's been hiding this alien interaction with from us.
And our audience agrees as well. 68% of the vote. Yes, absolutely. I'm part of that as well. Open mic. Would you rather poll? Would you rather be an unknown superhero or a famous villain?
Unknown superhero or famous villain. I'll go. As much as I like publicity and exposure, I'm still a good person at heart. I'd like to be an unknown superhero. I don't want to do bad things. Who wants to be known as a notorious person who does bad things to people? I'm gonna go unknown superhero.
I just don't. I mean, whether or not you're a good person, what's the value in being the notorious villain? The value in being the unknown superhero is you have your superpower. Like you can fly maybe or do something super cool like that. And who cares if no one knows about that? You get to do it. It's pretty cool. I'm going with unknown superhero.
Some very good points there. With 91% of the vote, an unknown superhero wins that one, folks. Listen, the shout out with Shadow brought to you by Frank Gay Services. A live operator is waiting for you, and a licensed plumber is ready to help today with the solution to your problem fast, okay? That's the Frank Gay way. FrankGayServices.com.
Adam Shadoff, we will see you on the Fox 35 Sports Zone. Thank you, my friend.
All right, see ya.
Adam Shadoff. Always love that segment. Straight ahead, we have The magic word is over. The season is over. Every Tuesday at this time, we bring on a magic personality. Today, we get the magic word, the final magic word from Magic TV broadcaster extraordinaire, one of my favorites, Dante Marchitelli. Dante, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Oh, it's great. Always great to talk to you, Mike. Glad we get to do it one more time. And I got to hear that song one last time. That was outstanding.
Dante, I'd like to say I'm sad that this is the final magic word, but I got to tell you, Dante, I'm glad the season's over. Again, I'd seen enough. Obviously, we know what the Magic's mission was after the trade deadline, and glad they got to the bottom three. But it was hard to watch some of these games near the end of the season. You watched them all, Dante. Your thoughts just on the season in general?
Felt like 9 different seasons all in one, right?
Right.
You have the emotions, the start of the year, you're 4-0, first time in franchise history, you're 6-2. So you're excited, you're thinking, oh, this is going to be a fun year. Maybe we get a top 4 or 5 spot in the East, and then that devastating injury to Markelle Fultz, and, just couldn't quite obviously recover from that, and then the trades, and, then you're saying goodbye to guys that had been here for quite some time, and then you watch the new guys. You're watching these young guys in the new direction and the new development. But, yeah, you're 6-22 since the trade, So obviously there wasn't a ton of winning there. So the focus shifted to development and how can these guys improve here down the stretch. And now we have our focus solely on the NBA draft lottery coming up here next month, and we'll look ahead at the draft. So I think it was a lot of emotions, a lot of ups and downs. You had 32 different starting lineups, franchise record. 28 different players put on a Magic uniform, most in franchise history, and you had 400 games lost to injury. So there was a lot. There was a lot that happened through the course of these 72 games. You're right.
Steve Clifford, after the last game, the coach was asked to sort of put the season in perspective as well. Here's what he said.
It's the toughest season I've ever been through. To go back and think about, I think the excitement around our team that we could be the surprise team, because of continuity. We had played well at the end of the year before. We had a lot of guys coming back. Other teams did not. And as it played out, the East isn't as good as it was, but, really starting with J.I. getting hurt in the bubble and then Markelle going down. And then, we were never to, sustain anything. And a lot of it was, due to the injuries.
Okay, that was Steve Clifford calling it the toughest season in his 21 seasons in the NBA as either an assistant or a head coach. Dante, there seems to be a common belief, hey, Coach Clifford, obviously he's a teacher. He was a high school teacher at one point. He's the guy to lead this young talent and develop this young talent. His job is secure, I would assume, right?
Oh, I would think there's no question about that. I mean, this is a guy that if you're going forward in this direction and you want these young guys to learn how to make a name for themselves in the NBA, how to get better each game, how to learn accountability. I think that's a huge thing. Brian Hill made that point in our last telecast in the postgame is, accountability. There's nothing more important for these young guys than that right now. How to conduct themselves as pros and how to learn this game, and he does that. He does that as well, if not better than anybody. So he always looks at the player and says, how can I help you get better? And then what's the best role for you to play to help the team? So he's always got the players' best interest at heart. He has a way to relate to players. And, I don't think there's any question. He's the perfect guy to move forward with this because he has such a great rapport with these guys. And to throw all of those guys together, all the 10-day guys that we saw at the end of the year, all those guys that came up from the G League, and to still be organized, to still have some semblance of organization, not even knowing until he got to the arena a lot of times who was going to play and who wasn't, is remarkable. I don't think there's anyone else that could put that all together the way that he did. So yes, I think he's the perfect guy for this moving forward.
Dante, of these young pieces, I'm going to name some young players. Tell me who a couple of them that maybe most excite you. Cole Anthony, Chuma Okeke, Wendell Carter Jr., R.J. Hampton, Mo Bamba.
Well, I think they're all exciting, but I think the one guy that jumps out right away is Cole for me, because he's just a big personality, Mike, and I don't know how many of those big we've had great guys over the last few years, and but that personality, the way that he talks with his teammates, and just how he's just a big gregarious personality, and I think that stands out. He's just not. He's not afraid. He's not afraid. From the second he got here, he makes mistakes, ton of mistakes, and he's going to have to learn. But he's not afraid of the big moment, and he wants the big shot. For a rookie to have 2 game winners is unheard of, and he did that. And some people go their entire career and not have that. So the fact that he's not afraid and he's confident and he has that big personality, I think he jumps off the page. And then you look at R.J. Hampton, just got named Rookie of the Month. I think we knew nothing about him. We didn't know anything about him when he first got here, and then he finishes his last 8 games averaging 16 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. I mean, that's a fantastic finish to the season. It is now. The season is what it is, and it's very difficult to truly evaluate these guys here in the last month of the season. But I thought that guy made the biggest stride, in my opinion. And I think he's got a big summer. He's going to work with Mike Miller. Mike Miller's going to come here. He's his agent. He's going to help working with him and continue to work on that 3-point shot. Then you get excited thinking if there is a summer league, if there is a training camp, and those guys are able to continue to play, what they're going to look like at the start of next season could be pretty exciting.
Magic insider and broadcaster Dante Marchitelli right here on Open Mic. Dante, obviously, if the Magic want to turn it around next season, injury issues with Markelle Fultz and Jonathan Isaac, both torn ACLs. I don't know where they are as far as their rehab process. Have you heard anything about how they are doing health-wise?
Yeah, they're doing great. I think everything's on track, and they seem to be progressing just like at the rate of speed you would expect them to and hope them to. And I think the biggest thing now is you just don't want any setbacks between now and the start of next season. So everything's on track, and we don't know the timetable. We hope that they'll be available at the start of the season, but that may not be realistic because they're not going to push it. They're not going to force it, and they're going to make sure that both of these guys are 100% healthy coming into next season. So what that looks like as far as when, training camp would be great. I just think it's hard to tell exactly right now, but yes, everything's progressing. They're moving like they should and doing everything they should as far as rehab. And now we just hope and pray no setbacks between now and the start of next season for them or for anybody,
Dante, what are the NBA people saying about the quality of this draft? Obviously, the Magic hopefully will have 2 first-round draft picks in this draft. What's the quality of this draft?
Well, it's supposed to be one of the deepest drafts we've had. I mean, I think NBA executives have been excited about this draft probably since the start of the season, since they kind of identified these guys and maybe even some for the last couple of years. So, you hear some reports that it's 5, 6 players deep. You hear some that it could be 10. You don't know how deep it will be for finding impactful players here coming into this year. But it's supposed to be very deep. And in one of the deepest drafts in recent history, the Magic are going to have potentially 2 top 10 picks, which I think is pretty interesting. It's pretty funny, Mike, when you think about it. The 2 other times in Magic franchise history, they've had 21 wins. And both times they got the number 1 pick. And they ended up with Dwight and they ended up with Shaq. So now here we sit at 21 wins, and you're hoping to get a little lottery luck here next month as well. But, all indications are, they're for Orlando's pick. They got the best percentage for the number 1 pick, best percentage for a top 4 pick. Could be anywhere from 1 to 7, and then you wait to see where Chicago ends up as well. That could be 10, 11, 12. And it could be, you could, in what is potentially, you never know until you see these guys, but in what is potentially the deepest draft we've had in quite some time, the Magic could have 2 top 10 picks.
Hey, Dante, real quick, can you explain to our listeners, okay, so the Magic have Chicago's pick, but it is top 4 protected. If somehow Chicago gets a top 4 pick, I think they have about a 20% chance of getting that. If Chicago's pick is a high pick and Chicago ends up using it, then the Magic get a Chicago pick in the future? Is that it?
Yeah, correct. And I think it conveys till next year. And there's some protections on it next. I think next year it moves to top 3 protected. So I think you'll get Chicago's pick next year. And then they already own their pick in 2023. So it would skip to next year, and then you look at 2023 for that second pick that came back as part of that trade for Nick Vucevic. So yeah, there's still protections on it next year, top 3. But I think everybody's looking and hoping. And what you want is only the top 4 are the lottery. So wherever Chicago is slated, 10, 11, 12, you want to see their name there. If you don't see it when they start revealing it, then that means they got in the top 4 and it won't convey to Orlando. So we'll have our eyes on that certainly on June 22nd.
Absolutely. Nobody does it better than Dante Marchitelli. Dante, we appreciate all your help this season. Obviously looking forward to a relationship in the future. Thank you so much, my friend.
No, you guys do a great job. Thanks for everything. We look forward to continuing. And thanks to Brandon Kravitz, Rick Everett, to you, Mike. Great job all year.